Hey Seahawks Nation! Let me ask you something straight up, no sugarcoating it. Do you trust this team right now, or are you just hoping nothing goes wrong? Because in the playoffs, there is no plan B when the body starts to break down. There's no margin for error, no extra week to recover, no safety net. And this week made one thing very clear: the Seattle Seahawks are being tested exactly at that point. Key pieces are being managed carefully, heavy decisions are happening behind closed doors, and physical details are lining up in ways that could completely reshape this postseason. None of that shows up on a stat sheet, but all of it matters. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick with me until the end, because what's on the line right now is a lot bigger than just one playoff game. When you look at a defense that finished the season leading the league in points allowed, it's impossible not to talk about the impact of a player who was questioned early on but ended up becoming one of the pillars of this entire system. DeMarcus Lawrence isn't just another name on the defensive front. He's become a technical, emotional, and leadership anchor inside that locker room. He's one of those players whose presence changes how everyone around him plays. That's why the moment his name showed up on the injury report earlier this week, alarms went off across the fan base, especially when the word Achilles shows up in any context. That's not a small detail. That's the kind of thing that shifts the mood of an entire city and forces everyone to stop and reassess. And the weight of that concern becomes even clearer when you look at what Lawrence actually produced this season. 53 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 2 fumble returns for touchdowns in the same year. That's not normal production, especially at this stage of a career. That's elite impact mixed with film study, instincts, timing, and experience. It's the kind of production that shows up in big moments, not just box scores. It's no coincidence that he earned another Pro Bowl nod in a career that now spans 12 NFL seasons. Longevity like that doesn't happen by accident. It comes from preparation, football IQ, and the ability to adapt year after year as the league changes around you. Mike Macdonald moved quickly to calm any panic, explaining that this is an issue Lawrence has been managing for some time and that the plan all along was to have him on the field against the San Francisco 49ers. That context matters. It helps explain the sharp drop in snaps in Week 18, when he logged just 26 defensive plays. That wasn't fear. That wasn't decline. That was calculated, intentional strategy. Just look back to the first matchup against San Francisco in Week 1, when Lawrence played 52 snaps and recorded 6 tackles and 2 tackles for loss, even in a loss. In the most recent meeting, with him being handled more carefully, the defense still managed 3 sacks of Brock Purdy and 8 total quarterback hits. To recreate that kind of pressure against such a dynamic offense, the Seahawks need the full pass rush firing. And everything we're seeing points to Lawrence being ready when it matters most. While the defense gets a bit of relief, the offense has entered a stretch of close monitoring, especially along the offensive line. Charles Cross looked to be on a smooth path back after missing 3 games with a hamstring injury. He practiced fully early in the week, and everything seemed under control. The tone around the building was optimistic. Then came word of a new limitation tied to his knee, adding another layer of concern just days before facing the 49ers. There's still no clear picture of the severity, but the fact that he's on the field at all, even in a limited capacity, matters in this situation and keeps the door open. Cross hasn't played since December 14th, and coming back for a playoff game after more than a month away is never easy, especially at his position. Timing, leverage, and confidence all matter. Still, the context works in his favor. Just weeks ago, the Seahawks made a major statement by signing Cross to the largest contract extension in franchise history for a non-quarterback. A 4-year, $104 million deal that runs through 2030. That's not just a contract. That's a message. That's the organization saying, without saying it out loud, that he's a foundational piece they plan to build around. Mike Macdonald made that crystal clear when he talked about Cross's work ethic, presence, and daily impact both in the locker room and on the practice field. A player who leads even during walkthroughs, who keeps the intensity high without contact, who sets a standard for everyone around him, is exactly the kind of guy you want protecting your quarterback's blindside in January. This isn't just about physical ability. It's about trust, accountability, and mindset when the pressure is highest. And speaking of quarterbacks, things became even more delicate when Sam Darnold showed up as questionable with an oblique injury suffered in practice. Darnold tried to downplay it and said he expects to play, but in the playoffs, there is no such thing as a minor injury at that position. Any limitation in the core affects rotation, velocity, and accuracy, especially when throwing under pressure. Even the possibility that he isn't 100% forces the Seahawks to prepare for multiple scenarios behind the scenes. If something unexpected happens, Drew Lock is next in line. He took reps with the starters while Darnold was out and has the full confidence of the coaching staff. With 28 career starts in the NFL, he's seen enough to step into a hostile environment and keep things from spiraling out of control. Clint Kubiak has been clear that Lock is there for a reason, and Mike Macdonald has never hidden his respect for his professionalism and leadership. Jalen Milroe is also on the roster, but his role has been very specific, usually tied to run packages and situational looks. In a true emergency, Lock is the primary option. Milroe remains a tactical wrinkle, not the main solution. The real question here isn't just who would start, but what level Darnold could actually play at even if he's on the field. He stayed healthy for most of the season and maintained a consistently high level of play. Now that standard will be tested under maximum pressure, when every rep matters more and mistakes are magnified. All of this leads to one clear reality. The Seattle Seahawks enter this decisive matchup balancing confidence with caution. The defense knows it can take over. The offense has key players pushing to return at the most critical moment. And the most important position in the sport carries a question mark that won't be answered until kickoff. There's a lot happening all at once. Far more than what fans see on Sunday. And now I want to hear from you 12s. Which of these situations worries you the most? Do you believe this team is ready to handle these challenges and stay alive in the Super Bowl chase? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear where you stand. And if you don't want to miss anything happening with the Seahawks, support the channel with a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and ride this journey with us. This run belongs to all of us. Let's show the power of this fan base. Go Hawks!